So you've been thinking about moving to South Carolina because of its lower taxes and warmer weather, but you're not quite sure which city to move to. Well, as someone who's lived in the state for half a decade now, I'm going to give you my top reasons why you should pick Charleston over Greenville or Columbia. I may be a little biased, but my reasoning is in the data. So let's dive right in. There are a variety of factors to consider when moving to a new city, and you're not going to find the quote-unquote perfect place to live ever, because every city comes with its own unique pros and cons. Don't get me wrong, Greenville and Columbia are good places to live. Well, maybe not Columbia, but I think that Charleston has them beat in more ways than one. And while Charleston does have its cons, the pros far outweigh the cons for the majority of people looking to move to the state. You don't see many news articles or travel magazines talking about Greenville or Columbia compared to Charleston. That's because Charleston is consistently ranked in the top 10 cities in the US as a travel destination thanks to its incredible food scene, extensive history, cobblestone streets, and great beaches. The laid-back coastal atmosphere is something that most inland cities can't replicate, and you take into consideration all of the history, it's really hard to beat. Charleston was right on the front lines during both the Revolutionary War and the Civil War, and what's great is you can still see and experience that history today. Most people choose to move to the South because they want a more temperate climate, and for some, the heat and humidity can be a concern. But when you look at the weather averages in Greenville, Columbia, and Charleston, I'll tell you, Columbia still gets as hot and humid as Charleston without the added benefit of living next to the ocean. Greenville has a humid subtropical climate, meaning hot summers and mild winters, but they are still dealing with high humidity during the summer months and snow in the winter. Trust me, it makes a big difference when you can escape the heat by going to the beach. But on top of this, Charleston is home to award-winning master plan communities with affordable homes and great amenities. This huge variety of neighborhoods tailored to nearly any budget and can help offset some costs. Some of the common reasons I hear friends or past clients for moving to Greenville or Columbia over Charleston is because they want to live in a less busy metro that's more affordable. But are these cities actually smaller than Charleston? And is the lower cost of living worth it compared to the quality of life you would receive in Charleston over these other cities? Let's break down the populations and cost of living for each of these cities so that we can compare them to each other. The population of Charleston is just over 155,000 people with a metro population of 849,000 people. Columbia has a population of just over 142,000 and a metro population of over 858,000. And Greenville has a population of about 73,000, but a metro population of nearly 1 million people at 975,000. While Charleston has the largest population in terms of the city itself, surprisingly, out of the three, it has the smallest metro population. The city with the largest metro population is actually Greenville, which is larger than Charleston by over 100,000 people. Columbia falls in the middle of the three, both in terms of city population and the metro. So if a big driving factor for you is living in a smaller metro, Greenville isn't actually the best option. I think we need to get to the underlying reason why people think that Columbia or Greenville is smaller than Charleston, despite it not being so. And in my opinion, it has to do with urban sprawl. In the upstate areas like Columbia or Greenville, there are really no geographic constraints to expansion. This enables the population to easily shift to the suburbs and still be centrally connected with the main city center and industrial districts through an extensive road system. However, the same can't be said about Charleston. The city has extreme geographic barriers to expansion because of the ocean to the east and the countless rivers and wetlands. You can't build a new road without what seems to be a 10-year environmental study by the Army Corps of Engineers because the impact to the floodplains and the water table. So infrastructure growth has a lot of roadblocks that the upstate doesn't have. This leads to more traffic and congestion on the roads, and with the population more tightly confined because of geography, it just feels bigger even though it's really not. Now let's break down the cost of living scores for each of these three cities and see how they compare to each other. To get the most up-to-date answers I could, I used Rent Cafe, which pulls data from the Cost of Living Index published by the Council of Community and Economic Research. Their data was last published in March of 2025, and the data showed that Charleston had a cost of living score directly aligned with the national average, but was 6% higher than the state average. Columbia has a cost of living score that was 8% lower than the national average and about 2% lower than the state average. And Greenville has the most affordable cost of living, which was 10% lower than the national average and was 4% lower than the state average. But you'll notice that in 2025, Charleston is directly aligned with the national average. By the way, this data is highly regarded for its accuracy and reliability. It's used by multiple entities like the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and even the President's Council of Economic Advisors. So while Charleston has a reputation for being one of the more expensive cities in the state, that could be changing. Columbia and Greenville do have lower cost of living percentages than Charleston, but they don't have the beaches, the festivals, top-rated restaurants, history, lifestyle that people love to experience in Charleston. And it's not something that a city can easily replicate because it takes decades to establish and a lot of money invested over time to create that. So I decided to look at the quality of life scores for each of these cities, and Charleston Charleston had an overall score of 6.7 out of 10 and was ranked 13th in best places to live and best places to retire. Columbia had an overall score of 6.1 out of 10 and was ranked 91st in best places to live and 78th in best places to retire. Greenville actually had the highest quality of life scores with an overall rank of 6.9 out of 10. It was ranked 4th in best places to live and 30th in best places to retire. So Greenville actually beats Charleston in terms of best places to live, but falls significantly short on best places to retire. I think a big reason for this is that cost of living tends to be lower in Greenville. But for folks who are approaching or they're at the retirement age, cost is less of a concern and lifestyle is more of a concern. And the Charleston lifestyle can't be beaten or replicated. Something that makes Charleston better, in my opinion, is that there are a lot more amenities and things to do compared to Greenville. Both cities have a great art scene, but Greenville's isn't as vibrant or as big. Greenville has a ton of breweries though, so many freaking breweries. And Greenville is close to Clemson, and this is a big draw for people. Similarly, Columbia has the University of South Carolina, which is a massive SEC college. Charleston, on the other hand, doesn't have any large colleges that stays in the national dialogue, but it does have a fewer smaller regional colleges that are mighty in their own right. Charleston has a growing sports scene with the South Carolina Stingrays hockey, which is one of the top teams in the ECHL, the Charleston River Dogs minor league baseball team, which is affiliated with the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Charleston Battery, our local professional soccer club in the USL Championship. Plus, the city hosts tons of health and fitness events throughout the year, from 5Ks to triathlons to yoga on the beach. And one of the most popular events is the Cooper River Bridge Run. It attracted nearly 40,000 runners this year. In fact, in 2025, Charleston was ranked as the healthiest city in the state of South Carolina by Wallet Hub. On top of this, there is a great concert scene that has been growing with big name artists playing at Credit One Stadium and the North Charleston Coliseum. It's honestly hard to get bored in a city like Charleston. So again, if you're moving to the South because you want warmer weather, a healthier lifestyle, and more fun things to do, Charleston is still the better option, especially for those of you who want to retire. It just depends on what you value. Do you want to live with snow and live in a mountain town, or do you want to live in the bustling capital of South Carolina, or do you want to experience the laid-back coastal living of Charleston? Pros and cons to both, but I know which one I would pick. Now let's get to the nitty-gritty and talk about some home prices. Charleston has a reputation for being more expensive than Columbia and Greenville, and while that is the case, this has been changing lately as more affordable options have popped up in the Charleston metro. Using our regional MLS data, the median sales price for a home in Charleston was $429,000 as of March of 2025. According to Realtor.com, the median sales price for a home in Greenville was $385,000, and in Columbia it was nearly $259,000 as of March of this year. I've been making fun of Columbia a decent amount in this video, but it is the best place in terms of affordable home prices. Columbia has a great central location that's only a few hours from the beach and the mountains if you would like a nice middle ground. It's only a few hours away from Myrtle Beach and from Charlotte, which is a pretty big draw for people. And if affordability is your primary concern, then it's still a good option. And as you can see from the numbers, Greenville is still more affordable than Charleston, but that has been shifting in recent years. $385,000 is still less than the national average, but it's getting pretty close to it. If Greenville continues to grow over the next few years, I think it's possible to see home prices climb over the national average and closer to Charleston prices. But if you've watched any of my videos, then you'll know that there are plenty of affordable cities scattered all over the Charleston metro where you can find affordable homes that are much lower than the national average. Areas like Somerville, Goose Creek, Moncks Corner, and North Charleston are awesome places to live with great neighborhoods and homes well under the median sales price, both in Charleston and nationally. So even if affordability is a main driving factor, you won't need to sacrifice living here if it's where you really want to be. You have plenty of options. You just need to know where to look. Picking where you want to live is a personal decision that only you can make based on what you find valuable. There is no wrong answer here. Greenville has nice mountains and a great quality of life.
I want to see mountains again. Mountains, Gandalf. And then find somewhere quiet where I can finish my book.
And Columbia has a great central location with affordable home prices, albeit at the expense of lifestyle and amenities. But Charleston stands out because of its location on the coast, top-rated food scene, extensive amenities, and laid-back lifestyle. It's one of the most unique cities, not only in South Carolina, but the entire United States. But if you are convinced that Greenville or Columbia is for you, I would love to hook you up with one of my personally vetted realtor colleagues to make sure you're taken care of. And for those of you who are sold on Charleston and need help figuring out the best city for your personal situation, we are experts at that too. As one of the top real estate teams in Charleston, we want to earn your business and be your resource for all things real estate here in the Low Country. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.